I'm 74 years old. I was a firefighter for 38 years. And there's one night I think about every single day. 2 kids trapped on the second floor, flames everywhere. And I had maybe 40 seconds to decide which one to save first. What I did next broke every rule I was trained to follow. And it broke something in me that never healed. My name is Harold. I joined the fire department in 1971. I was 23 years old, fresh out of the army, looking for a job where I could be useful. I didn't have some noble calling. I needed work. The firehouse was hiring. That's the truth. But somewhere along the way, it became more than a job. It became who I was. You spend enough years running into burning buildings while everyone else runs out. It changes you. You start to see the world differently. You notice exit signs. You count floors. You listen for smoke detectors in every building you enter. It gets into your bones. For 38 years, I followed the training. I followed the protocols. Every decision by the book. That's how you stay alive in this job. That's how you keep your team alive. Emotion is the enemy. Instinct can kill you. You trust the system because the system is built on the bodies of firefighters who learned the hard way what not to do. I believed that. I taught that to every rookie who came through our station. Then came October 14th, 1983. I remember the date because it was my daughter's birthday. She was turning 8. I had promised her I'd be home early. We were going to have cake. I was going to give her a bicycle, pink with streamers on the handles. I can still see it in my mind, leaning against the wall in our garage, wrapped in a bow. The call came at 11:47 at night. Structure fire, 2-story residential, possible occupants trapped inside. When we arrived, the house was fully involved. Flames coming out of every window on the first floor. Smoke so thick you couldn't see the roof. And a woman on the front lawn screaming. I can still hear her voice. She kept saying 2 words over and over. My babies, my babies. Here's what they train you to do in that situation. You wait for backup. You assess the structure. You make entry as a team, with a line, with ventilation, with a plan. You don't go in alone, ever. That's rule number 1, because a dead firefighter saves nobody. But here's what they don't train you for. The sound of a mother screaming for her children, the way it cuts through everything else, the way it makes every protocol feel meaningless. I looked at that house, I looked at my team still pulling hose off the truck. I looked at the second floor window where I could see 2 small faces pressed against the glass, and I had maybe 40 seconds to decide. This is the part I need you to understand. I knew the right thing to do. Wait, set up, go in with my team. That's what I would have told any other firefighter to do. That's what I had told other firefighters to do for 12 years. But those faces in the window, a boy and a girl, maybe 6 and 8 years old, and the flames were climbing. I could see the glow behind them, getting brighter. I made a decision. I grabbed a ladder. I went up alone. No line, no partner. No backup, just me and 30 pounds of gear and a prayer I didn't even believe in. I broke the window. The heat hit me like a wall. The smoke was so thick I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. I got down on my knees and I crawled toward where I'd seen those kids. I found the girl first. She was unconscious. Smoke inhalation. I picked her up and I carried her to the window, and I handed her down to my partner who had followed me up the ladder. He was screaming at me to come down, to wait, to follow protocol. I went back in. The boy was in the corner of the room, awake, terrified. He was holding a stuffed rabbit. I remember that detail because it's the kind of thing that stays with you. In the middle of all that chaos, all that fire, a little boy clutching a stuffed rabbit like it could save him. I picked him up, and that's when the floor gave way. We dropped maybe 4 feet, landed on something solid. I don't know what. A beam, maybe. A piece of furniture. My back hit first. I heard something crack. Felt something shift in my spine. Pain like I'd never felt before. But I still had the boy. I don't remember getting out. They tell me I crawled to a window with the boy in my arms. They tell me my partner pulled us both out. They tell me I was conscious the whole time, talking, giving orders. I don't remember any of it. The next thing I remember is waking up in a hospital bed 3 days later. My wife was there. My daughter was there, still waiting to open her birthday presents. And the doctor was telling me that I had 2 herniated discs, a fractured vertebra, and nerve damage that would never fully heal. Both kids survived. The boy, the girl, their mother. Everyone made it out. When I heard that, lying in that hospital bed, I cried. First time I'd cried since my father's funeral. Now here's the part that nobody talks about. The aftermath. I was a hero. That's what the newspapers said. That's what the mayor said when he gave me a commendation. That's what everyone at the station said when I finally came back to work. 6 months later, still in pain, still on medication, but too stubborn to quit. But I also violated protocol. I put myself at risk. I put my team at risk. I got lucky. And in this job, luck is not a strategy. What if I had died in there? Then it's 2 dead kids and a dead firefighter. What if my partner had followed me in and we both got trapped? Then it's 2 dead kids and 2 dead firefighters. I spent years thinking about this, lying awake at 3 in the morning, running through the what-ifs, second-guessing myself, wondering if I made the right call or if I just got away with making the wrong one. And here's what I finally understood. I'll never know. I'll never know if waiting would have cost those kids their lives. I'll never know if going in alone was brave or reckless. I'll never know if I'm a hero or just a lucky fool who should be dead. What I do know is this. In that moment, with those faces in the window, I couldn't wait. Not wouldn't. Couldn't. Something in me made a choice before my brain could catch up, and I have to live with that choice. The good parts and the bad parts, the lives saved and the back that never stopped hurting. I retired in 2009. By then I was the captain. I'd trained hundreds of firefighters, and you know what I told every single one of them? Follow the protocols. Trust the system. Don't be a hero. And you know what else? I knew some of them wouldn't listen, because I didn't listen, and I understand why. 40 years after that night, something happened that I never expected. I was at home, sitting on my porch, when a car pulled up. A man got out, maybe mid-40s. He walked up to me and he said, "Are you Harold, the firefighter?" I said I was. He said, "I'm Michael. You carried me out of a fire when I was 6 years old. I was holding a stuffed rabbit." I didn't say anything. I couldn't. He told me he was a firefighter now. Had been for 20 years. He said he'd spent his whole career trying to find me, to thank me. And now here he was, standing on my porch, with tears in his eyes. We talked for 3 hours. He told me about his life, his wife, his kids, his career, all the people he'd helped, all the fires he'd fought, all the lives he'd saved. And I realized something that I'd been too close to see. The decision I made that night didn't just save 2 children. It created a ripple. Michael became a firefighter because of what I did. And in his 20 years on the job, he's saved dozens of people. And some of those people will go on to do things that matter. And some of their children will do things that matter. And on, spreading out from that one night, that one decision, in ways I'll never fully understand. That doesn't make what I did right. I still broke protocol. I still risked lives unnecessarily. I still got lucky. But it makes it real. It makes it matter. I'm 74 years old. My back hurts every day. I walk with a limp. I can't pick up my grandchildren the way I want to. That's the price I paid. But Michael is alive. His sister is alive. Their children are alive. And somewhere out there, people are breathing today because of a chain of events that started with a choice I made in 40 seconds. Here's the lesson, and I want you to really hear this because it took me 40 years to understand it myself. Sometimes the right decision and the safe decision are not the same thing. The safe decision protects you. It follows the rules. It keeps you out of trouble. And most of the time, the safe decision is the right decision. But not always. Sometimes you're standing in front of a burning building, and there are faces in the window, and the protocols say wait, and something inside you says go. And in that moment, you have to choose. I'm not telling you to be reckless. I'm not telling you to ignore the rules. I'm telling you that there will come a day when you have to decide what kind of person you are. When the safe choice and the right choice pull you in different directions, and nobody can make that decision for you. I still keep the helmet from that night. It's melted, deformed, barely recognizable as a helmet anymore. I keep it on my desk where I can see it every day. Not because I'm proud of it, because it reminds me. It reminds me that some decisions cost you something, and some decisions give you something, and sometimes the same decision does both. If you're young, if you've got your whole life ahead of you, remember this: you will face moments that define you, moments where there's no clear answer, moments where you have to choose between safety and something else. When that moment comes, I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you this: whatever you choose, choose it fully. Don't hesitate. Don't look back. Make the decision and own it. Because here's the truth about life that nobody tells you. You don't get to know if you made the right choice. You just have to live with the choice you made. I'm at peace with mine. It took 40 years, but I'm at peace. So let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about it before you answer. When your moment comes, and it will come, what will you choose? If this story meant something to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment and tell me about a moment when you had to choose between the safe path and the right path. And subscribe, because I've got more stories to tell, and not much time left to tell them.